that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s first half of Season 3 is finished, let's examine and... what's that word? Just play. Hey Marvelites, welcome to Level Awesome. Well, I should say Level Marvelite, but who cares? Ryan here, your friendly evil bad guy, the Rhino. And welcome to the first episode of Rhino Mash, which is a subdivision of our main series, Marvelite Mayhem, where I talk about purely my opinion in a possibly very short, not video. Well, I'm the only one in the Marvelite HQ group that's seen the first half of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3. And so, yeah, I'm excited. Oh yeah, and spoilers! So what I was going to talk about is what's going to happen and what we want to happen. And if you watch all the way to the end, I made a shocking discovery that no one else, and I mean no one, has found. I searched YouTube, Comics Amino, and all other media. You'll have to wait and see. First off, the rest of the Secret Warriors actually uniting. As in the comics, the team consisted of Slingshot, who was already seen in the first episode, so she'll definitely be in. Stonewall, the son of Absorbing Man, who's already seen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and back again for Season 3, so another chance. But I don't think he'll have the exact same powers. And Manifold, who is an Aboriginal Australian that can teleport and bend reality. I doubt he'd be in because he's a bit too powerful and we already had a teleporter, Gordon. There was also Phobius, who I don't think will be there, Druid, who has a small chance, and also Hellfire. But wait, in the comics, there's barely anyone called Lincoln. But there is one. Lincoln Slade, who is the brother of Carter Slade, who ironically is the grandson of Hellfire. What a coincidence. And as who we have now, Daisy, aka Quake, leading them, Joey, that guy that can melt metal, and as I just said, Lincoln, the electricity guy. Next, I know it sounds strange, but another person who could help the team, not join Secret Warriors, but Squirrel Girl. Perfect, you know? I mean, she'd be perfect, not for a long time, but for a few episodes. They could need help with something, and Colton say something like, I know someone that could help. So they go to the house, and she's like all fangirl over the Avengers. But you know who should play her? Sarah Hyland. I know, it sounds stupid, but face it, she'd be perfect. Someone's been doing their research. Who I want to join the Secret Warriors that's not originally from there? Echo. Maya Lopez, who is an Olympic-level athlete who has the ability called photographic reflexes. So she can perfectly copy someone else's exact movements. So like Taskmaster. But I think she should be more true to her name, although it would be a bit like Daisy. So it should be like Banshee. Oh wait, Black Bolt. Moonstone. Or Dr. Carla Sofin. Her powers is flight, superhuman strength, and endurance. And she can even emit a kind of laser thing from her hands and produce light. She can also alter her costume at will. What I'm thinking is she's someone like Coulson or Gemma's psychiatrist, then gets her powers, turns bad, the team stops her, and turns her good. Boom. Songbird, aka Melissa Joanne Gold, had the ability of creating solid sound blocks that function as weapons, and has a harness that can make her waves into sound energy. Fitz could probably make that. I think she should mainly be in the team because of her sonic blasts. She can also use sonic wings to fly and has a sonic screen, but let's leave those out. I can't really think of any others, but we could have the return of Alicia, that girl that can multiply, you know? And some bad guys from the comics I'd like to have. For one, Mark Spector, or otherwise known as Moon Knight. Yes, he is a good guy in the comics, but there can be a bit of twists. Obviously not as powerful, with some differences. We can make him inhuman. Moon Knight's strength, endurance, and reflexes are enhanced depending upon the phases of the moon. The fuller the moon, the more strength he gets. If a new moon, he can lift several hundred pounds. It's not known how much of his strength is mystical and how much is simply the result of self-hypnosis due to his psychological instability. Dr. Chen Lu, or more notably known as Radioactive Man, was a nuclear scientist that experimented on himself, giving him powers like manipulating radiation, projecting radiations, and projecting heat. He can or should act like acid, burning through walls when he just touches it and stuff. Personally, I don't think he should be an Inhuman this time. Keep it a bit more true to the comics. But only after the whole Secret Warrior team is created. So probably about end of Season 3 or 4. Probably Season 4, though. Okay, I've got an idea. You obviously know Lash, right? That ugly blue guy that tries to kill all Inhumans, and he's really Andrew, May's ex-husband. Well, in the comics, he had a team. Or as they called it in the comics, Lash's tribe. Included in the tribe were Fume, Grove, Jack Chain, Casey, Corvistax, Mother Bones, Nightfall, Noculus, Seath, Spark, and Hollow, who I think should be included in the tribe. And remember, Luke's appearances and powers can always vary. 1. Fumes. Named Dull, he can release, duplicate, and control any types of gases from his body. 2. Grove. He can project imaginary objects. 3. Jack Train. Jack can generate and control dark matter and control chains. More of a big villain, so he might not be here or be by himself. Corvistax. Jason can manipulate Earth, specifically rocks. He can't control metals. Spark. Can generate fire from the top of his body. Hollow. He can allow himself to become intangible or let people go through him. 7. A new Inhuman, not part of Lash's tribe, but should be Mark Sim. He can absorb most types of energy shot at him and blast it back. So I think he can only do one at a time though. So someone like Lincoln shoots electricity at him, he could just blast it back at all of them. 7 members and the 8th Lash. Perfect amount for the Secret Warriors to fight. Okay, we love returns, right? Like on episode 12 of season 3, we have the return of Absorbing Man. So why not in season 4, when the whole Secret Warriors have been assembled, have the return of Ian Quinn and his friend, Dr. Franklin Hall. But this time, as Graviton. In Season 1, Episode 3, called The Asset, Dr. Franklin Hall, a Canadian physicist who was friends with Ian Quinn, both had a love for a rare element known as gravitonium. But when Dr. Hall heard that Quinn had found the whole heap of it, he organized his kidnapping. But the rest of S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't know. So when Coulson and his team began looking to rescue him, he and Coulson got into a big fight, ending with Franklin falling into the gravitonium. In the comics, it was a bit different.
Dr. Franklin Hall is a physicist involved in an experiment in a private research facility in the Canadian Rockies. An error in his calculation causes graviton particles to merge with his own molecules, and he then later discovers that he can control gravity. With a mere thought, Franklin Hall tries to hide his newfound ability, but becomes tempted by the potential power, and he becomes Graviton. Graviton takes over the research facility and forbids all communications. A fellow scientist sends a distress signal to the Avengers, so an infuriated Graviton lifts the entire research facility thousands of feet into the sky and threatens to kill the scientist. The Avengers arrive and quickly proceed to attack, but with the exception of Black Panther, the Avengers were all quickly defeated when trapped in a gravity field. The Black Panther escapes and summons the God of Thunder himself, Thor, who battles Graviton to a standstill, until Graviton is tricked into thinking a friend who worked at the facility took his own life. Graviton then panics and causes the entire facility to collapse on him, forming a giant stone sphere that is dropped into a river by the Avengers.
So yeah, it's pretty much took the whole Avengers to take him down, so he can replace them with the Secret Warriors. Where's the show headed? So far we've seen Daisy, Joey, Lincoln, and Yo-Yo, so there's a lot more to track down, but Daisy was letting Joey and Yo-Yo go home again. Will this break the team when needed? Well, no, probably. When the team is needed, they can just assemble with these fast handy watches, so that's good to know. Do you think there's going to be a cost for this? And yes, the special thing I figured out, well, you know that mystery Inhuman from that other planet that was in Will, and then we saw it leaving, and then we saw it in Ward? Well, I know Ward is Hive, but what if that is just what happened to Ward after the Inhuman enters him? So the Inhuman itself isn't Hive, but when he goes into Ward, he is. What if the Inhuman is, drumroll please, the Inhuman from the planet is probably Capo. Yes, the Capo. His description is Capo is an Inhuman who lives on an astral entity, possessing bodies as a parasite to sustain life. He's been the head of Enilx Corporation for centuries, if not millennia. Every generation within the Enilx ranks, the creation of the body fitting as Capo hosts the genetically engineered. But the last ones were too weak, flawed. So this has led to the first time in history of the organization to the decision to pass on the Capo functions into the body of a new human that seemed to have the constitution and the genetic sequences required for the transfer. Capo was always looking for a new and stronger host. Let's see. Demon was an astral entity when we saw it. It is a parasite and takes new, stronger hosts. So I'm guessing so. I'm amazing, whoa! Who is this guy, though? The guy with the Medusa eyes? Well, closest person to him in the comics is Gorgon, or Timmy Chisido. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Just like from the show, he has green glowing eyes that turn people into stone when he makes eye contact with them. He also wears dark shades and is associated with Hydra. But one problem, he is a mutant, and Fox should probably own him. But there is still a chance. The difference is that in the comics, Gorgon is Japanese, but no one cares. Well, I have a lot more to talk about, but this has probably been long enough anyway. So I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much for watching if you watched it to the end. I hope you enjoyed. And keep watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with me. If you want to see our last video, click here, where it says last video. And check out our recommended video, which is the future of Marvel's Netflix, right above recommended video. Be sure to check out our Comic Examiner page, Google Plus page, and our very own website. See ya. This has been Rhino from Marvelite HQ. Rhino Mash, Rhino Mash, Rhino Mash, everywhere, Rhino Mash. Yeah, I gotta come up with something. See ya.